welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for always coming. Thank you so much for returning. If you're a returning subscriber, if you're new, thank you so much for clicking. Hope you're well in all that you do and you're loving yourself and others like always. Today we'll talk about something that a lot of people will not be happy about. You know, whenever I talk about religion, it's like for you to have a separate opinion from everybody, that means you become an atheist. There was no religion before. There was no religion. Even all this religion we call the Abrahamic religion, there was no religion. These people were just practicing a connection with their creator. They were just practicing a connection with the Almighty. They didn't call it religion. It was a way of life which they were living. Now, what is your way of life? What is my way of life? Now, gradually, those in charge of the world, the Mbe case, those who feel they can move around everywhere and conquer people, decided to bring down their own beliefs, to force it on others to believe the same thing they believe. And this thing grew to a point where it became so normal that you have to practice the belief of someone and call it religion. This is what the colonial masters did to us from the time of the Arab invasion to the time of the European invasion. All this while, they've been coming with their way of beliefs, way of worshipping, and they've been forcing it on us, thereby making us forget our own way of worship and our own way of belief. Like where something is wrong with these religions is that you make other people feel that their own is not good, then it's your own that is the best. Now, what if they decide to say your own also is not good? You call them rebels, you call them whichever name you want to call them, you call them atheists, because they do not believe in the way you worship your creator. When we all have different ways which we communicate with the creator. Now, gradually we forge this in a way that it becomes a way of life for everybody. And when you don't do what everybody does, you have a different opinion. You've been tagged as a devil's incarnate. You've been tagged as someone who is possessed by the devil. And you've been tagged as... That is why a lot of persons are scared to even come out to air their opinion, because they'll be seen as people that do not believe in the creator.
You already had your reservations towards religion.
I had reservations in kindergarten.
What informed you that early?
They said Christians are the lambs of God. And I know sheep are very stupid animals. So I wanted to be a goat. I realized goats were very intelligent and sheep were not. I said to my friends, the Bible was written by a liar like me. That's why I don't believe in it.
Wow.
And they went to report to the teacher. I fear religion more than anything in this world. When you veer away from religion, people think it's because you are not interested in God. But it's the opposite. Religion comes between you and God. I don't want there to be anything between me and God. I want to have a direct relationship with God. All religions say there is only one God. Whether it is true or not, it means Christians and Muslims, even when they are fighting, they are worshipping the same God. Because they both believe there is one God. So religion is what creates the conflict between human beings. God unites us, but religion divides us. So I like the God without the religion. You know, in Ghana, I see 3-year-old children, they can recite A, B, C, D up to Z. But actually, what does that prove? It doesn't prove anything. So we should teach young children how to play, to interact with other children, to improve their social skills. So this, our obsession with teaching children 1 to 100 when they are 2 years old, yes, it's not healthy for our children. Our education system has done us more harm than good. So far, the primary purpose of our educational system so far has been to separate us from our inherent identity. First of all, you are not taught in your own language. If you go to church, they preach to you in your own language. The only book that has ever been translated into our languages is the Bible. But what they pretend to be teaching us, they never translated into our languages. So we never understood it. So the primary purpose of education is to indoctrinate you with religion. There is no school in Ghana where religion is not compulsory. Primary purpose of education, as it was brought to us, was to teach us religion. That is why they translated the religion into our language, but they didn't translate anything else into our language. that means they are not actually interested in us learning anything other than religion. Our entire system of education is based on a British model. The British were not interested in making us better people. Otherwise, they would not have colonized us. Colonizing somebody is not about helping them, it's about helping yourself.
Of course, these are words of truth. Now, one thing there that struck me, there are about 2 or 3, but let's take it one at a time. It says, our educational system has done us more harm than good, of course. This system was brought by those who came to colonize. So they only teach us how to tell them our secrets. They only teach us in a way that we can learn their language, learn how they serve the Creator their own way, forget about ourselves, forget about our own inheritance, so that we can easily communicate to them where the resources are, where all our secrets are. They learn this thing, they force it on us so we could communicate with them freely, so they can use the fools amongst us to get our secrets. I am always not happy when I see some Mbeke tourists around our Kebulan. I'm going around these typical villages and learning their traditions. Sometimes they practice these things and then they film it and put it on their own handles, and you just see how their fellow Mbekes will be, talking down on our people, like they see everything we do as so inferior and so primitive and so uncalled for. But everything they do is so holy, is so godly, is so sweet that everybody have to follow. Now, don't you think something is wrong with it? When I accept everything about you, everything you preach to me about your so-called God, I am okay with you. I am going to go to heaven when I die. I am walking with the Spirit. But when I begin to question the teachings, the beliefs and everything, you call me a devil's child. Like, this division that religion has caused is even in Christianity itself, it's even in Islam itself. I'm not getting to that of Islam because I'm not a Muslim. Now let's talk about the Christianity where we are in. Like I keep saying, every denomination has this bias system. We are all Christians, but you hear a particular church saying, if you are not a member, you are not following the right path to heaven. So they will try their best to come convince you. Like, you hear people going around for evangelism and they will ask you, what church are you going to? And then you tell them the name of your church, and then they will ask you if you are born again. Like, when someone asks you if you're born again, even if you've told the person you're Christian, you go to a church, and they ask you if you're born again, that means that church you are going to is not a correct church. That's your church. It's not a church where the Holy Spirit is dwelling. That church you are going to is just a gateway to hellfire. It is my own church that is the best. Now you see all this division around us, to the point that we hate on our brothers and sisters because they are in a different church from us. Now, even in the church, there are societies. Now, these societies are always in dispute. They are always on fire. No, you are in that other society. They are not strong like that. They don't receive the Holy Spirit like our own. You have to come and join our own so that you be full member of the kingdom. Now, do you see all these things? Most of the times, it's there, but we are blind to it because since we're practicing it already, it's in our system. We feel it's normal. Oh, it's normal. It's just the best thing to do. And then we keep living this without even pausing a while and asking ourselves, what are we really practicing? No, we don't pause to ask that question. Because when you ask the question, you become someone who is against the church. And this keeps happening. Now, the second thing is, religion comes between you and the Creator. Of course. Of course. Now, we have made it in a way that if you do not go to church, if you're a person, and especially in Alkebulan, the level of which we are so much into this thing, and that is why we keep complaining. Why is it that we can't take our rightful place? Why is it that we can't inherit our inheritance? It's because we are polluted. We are polluted, but we don't see it as pollution. It's people like us that we see as people that are polluted. You get my point? Because we try to say, okay, why not you think about this? Why not you think about that? No, you don't have to think about anything. It's allow the Holy Spirit to explain to you. How do you now? Why do you think that what is speaking through me is not the Holy Spirit? Because I am not following the same trend. You feel it's a demonic spirit that is speaking through me. This is exactly how religion has positioned our mind, and it's quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate. Okay, yeah, it comes between you and the Creator. You can serve God even without churches. I know a lot of you feel like, what is wrong with this person? What is wrong with this person? It's not by going to church that you're serving the Creator. It's not by joining one society or the other that you serve the Creator. But now it's a norm. For you to be seen as the holy of holiest, you have to be going to the church twice in a day, maybe 3 times in a day. You have to partake in all the societies and communities, because when you join one and you don't join the other one, you will be seen as a bad person. You don't like God's things. The devil is ruling your life. Exactly. This is what we do to ourselves. It's seen in our communities and societies. I think if you can follow me, you just leave a comment there at the section. We now see it like, you have to be going to church 3 times a day. You have to join all the societies in the church. You have to be speaking in tongues, because if you don't speak in tongues, it's also another one. There are lots of them, you can name them. These are the things that we've used to tie ourselves into, even from the reality of the Creator himself. Are these the things the Creator is interested in? The answer is capital no. The interest is in our mind and the connection we forge with this divinity. And that is why you can be doing all these things, going to church 10 times a day, joining whatever, you still be as empty as ever and as wretched as ever. There are a lot of them we see every day, because there is no sincere connection forged. And this is where it gives room to eye servicing. We only do this to receive praises from men. We do this to receive praises from people. Oh, this is a holy person. She's always everything about God. Oh my goodness, she's always into it. He's always going to church. And that's why most of the times our personal lives are not something that people can emulate. Because all those going to church and everything, when you behave with people, it will be like, with all the church you are going to, why do you still act like this? Because the conversion, the sincerity is not there. The connection is not there. And we are not interested in it. Oh no, we are not interested in it. We are only interested in those one we do physically and receive praises from men. Now what about the connection you forge with the Creator? When you sit alone and meditate, how does God reply to you? Is the Creator telling you, oh, well done my child, keep doing all? The Creator is trying to conscientize you the evil you do behind closed doors?